American Islam. You know, leaders like Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, may Allah grant him mercy, or Muhammad Ali, right? When we think of names that have became American, basically, pillars, not just American Muslim pillars. So America is welcoming. When people, average people, don't ask the bigots, the average person in America, when you say Muhammad Ali, what do they say? Amazement, respect, love. The entire country, the entire world. I mean, he's probably the most popular brand in the world. His name, Muhammad Ali, or Ali as they go. So America is welcoming, and let's face it, who elected Ilhan Omar? It's her constituents. The overwhelming majority of her constituents are not Muslims in her district. Actually, substantially, more so than average cities, substantially Christian and Jewish. Her biggest supporters happen to be from the Jewish community. Actually, I visited the campaign, I visited her city. Some of her biggest volunteers and donors happen to be from the Jewish community and the Christian community. Why? Because most people in America are not racist. It's easy to watch the news and hear the bigots, but these are the loudest voices. Ask, you know, if you go and survey people around you here, how many of them hold bigoted views? Very few. You know, they might have misinformation about you. They might have doubts about who you are, why do you wear the hijab, is your dad forcing you to wear hijab, is, you know, all the nonsense they watch in movies. But the minute they get a chance to talk to you and understand how smart you are, mashallah, you're going to be a future doctor, someone who knows what they want to do. Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not claiming. I know that's your plan. I'm not imposing on you what to become. Inshallah, you become whatever you want to do. But from what I understood, right? So if they only knew that, look at this young, bright person who, mashallah, is focused. I mean, any parent would wish to have a child like you. True, that's the reality. And mashallah, all of you. You're sitting here. You could be sitting and drinking and wasting your time and wasting your future. You're sitting. Despite the fact that you have classes, heavy classes, you have some of the best grades on campus. Every time I meet with chancellors at schools, presidents of schools, they have nothing but praises to say about the Muslim community, because you're focused, despite the challenges we're facing, and we're not the only ones facing challenges. I tell you, things are changing actually dramatically, positively, very rapidly. And that is what's making white supremacists nervous. A few years ago, they wouldn't care to come to our events, right? Some now get nervous. What can we do? There was 1,000 people protesting Ilhan Omar outside. Where were we? Inside. Do we care? Not a bit. We're having fun. They were screaming, losing their voices, screaming outside. Burn the Quran, kill the Muslims, whatever it is. All bigotry, they're going to say. Who cares? They're angry. We're happy. We had Muslims, we had Jews, we had Christians, we had atheists, we had Mexicans, we had Arabs. Everybody was having a blast, enjoying the moment. Amazing, you know, celebrating a great, bright, smart advocate for justice like Ilhan Omar. And that makes them nervous. I can tell you a few years ago, we were outside and denied being able to celebrate these moments. So the thing is, just realize that the moment you're in now is so temporary. And you know, when you're trying to climb a mountain and somebody is on top denying you the right to get there, to have your rightful place, when you're down there, they don't care, right? If they see you all the way at the bottom, they care. When do they get nervous and start throwing rocks at you? When you're really that close to the top. That's when they get nervous, because the status quo that they enjoy of white power, white authority, and white racism that allow them to subdue others, whether it's Jews or Muslims or blacks or brown. For them, they're feeling threatened, and we're not a threat. We're not a threat to anybody. We don't believe in basically a zero-sum game. You know, my empowerment, my equal rights, do not mean diminishing rights for you. It's actually a protection for your rights and the rights of your children. But they don't know that. So what I want you to leave with is be very positive. Things are happening beyond our imagination. America is changing. Polls show that. Surveys show that. Elections show that. You go to Congress. I was there on the Hill just literally a month ago. There's hardly an office that doesn't have Muslims working there. Hardly. Republicans and Democrats. Republicans and Democrats. I go there and say Muslims there working there. Why? Because we're part and parcel of this country, whether they like it or they don't. And I tell them, if you don't, go back to Europe. Too bad. We're not going anywhere. And they'll have a big surprise when they get there. There are a lot of Muslims in Europe too. So there's nothing they can do. We have to deal with it, be positive, build alliances, build partnership. That's what I said, be genuine about caring for the rights of the workers at the university, for the rights of those who are DACA students, right? Because they're brothers and sisters. Not because they might not be Muslims. Actually, the majority are not Muslim, although there are some who are Muslim. But that's not the reason why we stand by them. Because they cannot be punished for something they didn't do. A child who was brought in here by their parents had no say. When they were 5-year-old, when they came to this country without documentation, they cannot be penalized and denied the right to come to school or have a job. They should be treated the way I get treated, the way my kids get treated, the way you get treated. Because they're here, they're a human being, they're our fellow human beings, and they are equal Americans in my book. That's it. And we say that, and you do this, one, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will make things easy for you. When you work hard for the rights of others, Allah will protect your rights. But also it's because the right thing to do. And alhamdulillah, I can assure you, in the next 10 years, we will be, our Muslim community will be among the leaders in this country leading for advocacy for justice. Not for us, but for everybody. But it's gonna take some patience now. It's gonna take involvement from your end. Don't be content with just getting a good degree and a good job, finding a good wife or a good husband, and that's it. That's, our life is much more than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants way more from you and me than that. That is good. A good degree, a good job, a good family is really good. But on the day of judgment, all of us are going to be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about what did we do to our fellow human beings. He's going to ask you, you witnessed injustice, what did you do? So for that moment, prepare. And for that to prepare, that means plan for yourselves. Whether I become a doctor, an engineer, a business owner, what can I do to help make my country true to its values? Because you cannot change what's happening in Sudan, although we're all praying hard, inshallah, the revolution will bring down the dictatorship and bring democracy.
This guy actually believes his own rhetoric.
Halfway, exactly. We're praying and pushing.
Believes.
But in reality, that's all you can do. You're not on the street
These
there.
people are here for.
But you can preserve democracy in this
to,
country. So really, as much as I cheer for Syria,
fight injustice.
for democracy, right? I can't do much other than cheer for them and lobby here and there and pray. But what I can do here is make sure that I have the influence to make sure that my government does not engage in its long history of supporting these dictatorships. I don't want my tax money, because on the day of judgment, Allah will ask me. My tax, did I allow my tax money to buy F-16s that Israel can use to bomb people in Gaza, right? Or to give the Saudis F-16 to bomb people of Yemen? Or to give the Sisi regime weapons to go and shoot at people in Sinai? This I can control. I can't control what they do there, but I can control to make sure that my government does not use my tax money to engage in injustice that create enemies around the world, that destroy people's lives around the world, that commit or maybe contribute to injustice around the world. And that could only happen when we feel positive. I can give you an example. If you had asked a Japanese American who was sitting in an internment concentration camp in 1942 or 1943, how do you feel? They would have said, it seems, grim, difficult, because there's no end. But it took only 4 years, maybe a little bit more for some. And they were out, and it wasn't an easy being out. They were given $20, $25, by the way, after they've lost everything. Go, take a bus, go back home. You have to restart your life, rebuild your life. But they didn't give up. They are very persevering people, very resilient people, amazing people, one of the most amazing people I've met in my life. Very resilient, very positive. Quiet, but positive. And yet they rebuilt their life. And now the Japanese American community in our country is one of the most active communities when it comes to human relations and human rights. You go anywhere, any city, you see them very active, contributing time, money, etc. Because they understood, and I want our community to be that, because we felt what it means to be unjustly treated, but it shouldn't turn us into victims. don't ever become a victim. A Muslim can never be a
Losing
victim.
my patience
A
with listening
Muslim,
to this guy.
a Muslim is someone who
Ready to-
turns
It's
a
almost
challenge
over.
into an opportunity, who can turn
Just gotta
difficulty
stop in 10
and
minutes.
hardship into ease with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, with, not after, with hardship comes ease. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. So I feel that, you know, we are at this phase now, and I see already the light at the end of the tunnel everywhere I go, on colleges. Some of the most active student groups on campuses, you know which groups are these? You know, MSAs, MSUs. Who is holding the flag to talk about human rights? MSAs and MSUs. Who is building bridges across ethnicities, religions on campuses? Muslim students. Who are the people energizing interfaith alliances in this country today? Muslim Americans. With the help of many of our friends. We're not alone. So that the main thing you want to know, and I'll conclude with that on this question, because I think I went longer than you had expected maybe. After our president signed his disgraceful Muslim ban on January of 2017, you know, immediately after inauguration, I was sitting at home and I was wondering, I was like, oh my God, you know, imagine the president of the largest, most powerful nation on earth is actually targeting people on the basis of their religion. I mean, he said it, there's no need to read between the lines. You know, like the racist idiots who write the manifestos, he doesn't know how to